Hey everybody, Tom here, and in this video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cleaning up the game of Oath that I just barely finished. I just barely finished the first run through. I'm going to show you how you're supposed to clean this game up in order to prepare you for the second game, and then I'm going to show you how you would set up the second game. And by doing that, in theory, we should be able to know how to clean up any game and how to set up all future games. So if you didn't watch the gameplay video or the first video setup, there's links in the description below. Just a quick recap because I think it's going to matter. The blue player, oh, you can't see. The blue player did win this game by having the Vision of Rebellion, which meant that they could win if they started their turn with the banner of the people's favor. So, having said that, if you watched my original setup video, you saw that there were still 3 decks of cards that hadn't been opened. This is going to be part of closing down the first game, and so that's going to have to do with closing down the first game, but we will also discuss how to close up all of the games. So let's go ahead and open this up. It's an archive, and it says open only after your first game. There's the tab right there. If I can get it, I can do hard things, I promise. And I imagine, just like setup, this is going to tell us exactly what it is we're supposed to be doing. So let's start by flipping this over. This says put the 8 archive separators into the small compartment of the box. This part of the box is called the archive. Put the following 6 edifice cards into their archive sections of the matching suit. So I know that I've heard that there were going to be, and I saw, let me speak English. I read in the rule book and I saw there's a thing about edifice cards that we just haven't seen yet. I guess it has to do with these cards here. So let's look. The one way that I know this is an edifice card is they're double-sided. They look like this. So that is going to come up a little bit later. But yeah, so we hadn't seen these edifice cards. Let's take these. I have the box over here. And pardon the mess. As I was setting up the game, I kind of just threw stuff around. So we'll need a bunch of these pieces. So what I did is I already have the dividers, and it has the different, oh my gosh, what do I want to say? It has the, it has labels for different factions, and it has the Dispossessed and the World deck. Now, these are double-sided, so I'm not exactly sure how I plan on setting these dividers. That's always very important to me for some reason. Maybe we'll do a little something like that. And I do believe that what's going to matter is maybe the order these dividers are in to be helpful. So let's go take a look. Down here, the order of these banks is going to become pretty useful as we, there's a step in the cleanup part that has to do with that. So I think I want to get things in that order. So we have Discord, Arcane, Order, and then I want Hearth, Beast, and Nomad. Is that how I want that? Sure, something like that. Okay. So let me put these here. I don't know. I think I want the World deck in the front. Oh my gosh, I'm making this so much dumber than it. We're going to start like that. I will not waste time on the video preparing that. But what we need to do is go ahead and sort these into the various dividers. Where's the... Okay, so there's Discord here. Arcane will be next. Oh. And then we have Order, Hearth, Beast, and Nomad. Okay. Sweet. And yes, if you've seen any of my other videos with dividers, I could talk for an hour about if you should put the card in front of the divider or behind it. You do what works best for you. I am somebody who always puts a card in front of a divider, not behind it, because I think that's the morally right thing to do. Okay, flip over. We're going to separate the following 144 Denizen cards into 6 stacks of the 6 suits. Each stack will have 24 cards. Shuffle each stack separately and put it in the archive section of the matching suit. Okay, so let's take a look here. Oh, no, okay, they are sorted. I didn't think they were sorted for a second. So we're going to have Arcane. Oh, this is so in the way. We've got Discord. That doesn't seem right. Feels like there should be more of those. Why aren't there more of those? I don't know. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and open this up. Oh, do you know what? The rest of these might be in that deck. I don't know. We'll see. just to satisfy my curiosity. Nope. Okay. All right, and then we've got Beast. We've got Nomad. We have Hearth. And then we've got more Hearth. Order. Yep. There's the other ones. So let's just go ahead and get these in here. I usually, like for me, I kind of like to keep the cards this way just so that you can kind of confirm what the suit is, I think is how I'm going to do it. If you only have it the other way, oh my gosh, then, I don't know, maybe you don't know. Maybe I hate that actually. Okay, I'll flip it and have this one in the front. Let's do that, sure. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, I'm totally making this up as I go. Can you tell? Go like that. Oh crap, I was supposed to be shuffling these. Okay, I'll shuffle them. I just didn't want to do that on camera. I thought it'd be so boring. Okay, we're gonna shuffle, and then I'll do the other shufflings off camera and not subject you to that misery. Okay, cool. All right, so we got those ones shuffled. I will shuffle the rest, and we'll continue. Now, that's basically all that you really have to do in terms of the first game, and that's explained right here. It says, ending your first game, tells you to open up the packet, do what it says. Cool, we just barely did that, so wahoo. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and find the Chronicle summary sheet. This is what it looks like. It's gonna help us chronicle the book, which means prepare it for the other. This is what it looks like on the back side. This is to help you run the bot, which is for solo or two-player mode. So we're going to go to the Chronicle summary, and we're going to start and just go through these different steps. Step 1 says we need to vow an oath. The winner, the blue player, becomes the goal. Well, the winner chooses the goal for the next game. If we won with a vision, which we did, we're going to choose the Oath Keeper card that matches our vision. So this was the Oath Keeper card for this game, but the blue player won with the Vision of Rebellion. They won by having the Favor of the People, so we need to find that one. It's this one right here, the Oath Keeper of the People. So we're going to go ahead and pick this card and set it aside. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to offer citizenship. If the winner is in exile, which we were, we would flip all of the citizen boards to exile. We didn't have that in our situation, so that's okay. Then they can offer citizenship to any exiles except those who just flipped. So if the blue player wanted to, we could offer the red player citizenship, say, hey, do you want to jump on board this train and be my friend for the next round? And the red player would have a chance to accept or decline it. I'm going to just decline it since we're not necessarily really setting this up. But if somebody did accept the citizenship, then on the board what you would need to do is replace all of their, we would need to replace all of their warbands with blue warbands. So we're going to just say in this example that the red player has declined at this point. Okay? But that's what you do otherwise. Then we need to clean up the map. So the winner can either build or repair one edifice. Remember, we don't have edifices right now because they all just ended up in the box. But let's see. So to build a new edifice, we would replace a denizen at a site ruled by the winner with an edifice matching the suit from the archive. So we only ruled this one spot, but remember what this says right here is that this is the winner can do this only if they were the chancellor or a citizen. We weren't either, so we're going to be ignoring that part here. Okay, and then we'll just continue. At all sites except those ruled by the winner or with an intact edifice, again we don't have those, we're going to discard the denizens, return the relics and sites to their decks, and return the ruined edifices to the archive. So we did end up ruling this side at the end of the game, so this one's going to stay. Otherwise, we're basically going to be packing up these cards. Oh, I realized I just forgot there was a ruin over there, so ruin will just go over here in this pile. I'm pretty sure this just gets shuffled up. We're going to grab these. I don't think, as of yet, that it matters where we're discarding these. I think we're just forming a big discard pile. But this will even go for any of the sites that weren't ruled by the winner. And the blue player only ruled one site, which is kind of crazy. So these are all going to go into the draw pile of the sites, which I have over here. So let me just put those at the bottom for now. Now again, edifices, they're the double-sided cards. So the way that we read this is any of the sites that had an edifice that were not ruled by the winner, those would need to flip over. So just to review, all of the sites except those ruled by the winner or with an intact edifice. So an edifice would be stuck onto those locations because it would have a location and it would have a chain. And there's stuff that happens here right now, in which these become a ruin, and ruins have different rules with them. Yeah, so basically we don't have any of those out at this point, so we don't need to worry about it. So basically any site ruled by the winner, they would still be out, and any site that had an edifice attached to it, that would still be out too. And any of those sites with edifices that weren't ruled by the winner, you would take you would take the edifice and flip it over to the ruin side, and that's described right here. We're going to return all of the pawns, warbands, favors, and secrets back into the box. So the fact that we have this site out at this point is enough. Otherwise, we can just go ahead and get rid of everything. I will do that off camera. But just notice that does include all of the banks down here. Okay, so next up is going to be kind of this rearranging of the map, more or less. And so the way this works is any of the sites that don't have the ruins on it, they were sites that were ruled by the winner. You're going to take those sites and slide them, you can kind of imagine an upwards movement towards the cradle. And then any of the sites that had ruins on them, you would slide them downward to start to fill up the hinterland. Now this page, as far as I could see, doesn't explicitly say it, but what we're going to do is we're going to fill in any of the in-between spots with sites. Now it says with the shuffled deck, so it doesn't tell us to shuffle it, but I'm going to assume that we're going to take all of those locations that were, everything gets shuffled up at this point, like this. And in a normal game with these edifices and ruins, there would probably be some down this way. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill up. Oh my gosh. We're going to fill these up like this. And you would stop wherever you had face up ones. Okay. And we would flip these ones face up. These ones, just like in the first game, would be open information. You'd be able to see them. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start to set up the world deck that will be used next time. That's going to bring us to this step right here. Step number 4, we're going to add 6 cards from the archive. We need to find the winner's most common suit. If tied, the winner chooses. Add 3 cards of that suit from the archive world, and then we're going to add 2 and then 1 going clockwise. So that's kind of why I was referring to the order of these things that we pick. And be aware that the suits have different, things. Like you probably noticed this suit, the Discord, they are pretty mean and evil. They do kind of naughty things. Over here, oh, I don't know what the arcane does. Magical things, I would guess. Maybe stuff for the money. But either way, every suit has a theme. I don't feel like the blue player was a super mean one, so we're going to go ahead and pick this suit here. Well, do you know what? To play with the idea of both of these suits, because they're in order going this way, we're going to do 3 of these cards, 2 of these, and 1 of these. And so what we're going to do is we just take 3 of those cards. Now, my understanding is we don't grab the edifice, so I'm just kind of ignoring that. 1, 2, and then 1 of these. And we're going to come over here to the world deck. Now, a couple of things we've got to do is we have to fish out any visions that might still be remaining in there. And we're going to add these cards to the world deck. Now this is going to give us some instructions we're going to follow in just a little bit, but first what I want to do is I want to gather all of the discard pile stuff. So I'm just checking. I need to make sure we have all of the visions accounted for, and we'll just form a big discard pile. I don't remember where the visions ended up. Okay, so here's this. And we do need to include the advisors. Sorry, not the discards. We need to include the advisors from the losing teams into that same discard pile. Here's another vision, so I'm setting it aside. A vision. The blue player had 2 visions over here, and so we'll set that aside. So we've got the world deck, we've got our visions, we have our discard pile over here. And what we need to do is we need to take that discard pile, we're going to shuffle it up, and we're going to be adding 6 cards into the world deck. So to kind of balance that out, what we're going to do is we're going to remove 6 of these cards from the discard pile, and they're going to go into a spot called the dispossessed. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are all from the discard pile. These are 6 cards that we already saw and that we will not be seeing again. So that step was right here, remove 6 cards to the dispossessed. Next, we need to clean up the relics, shuffle together the relic deck, and losers' relics, refill the sites that have fewer relics than they need from the relic deck. So the blue player holds on to theirs. The Chancellor had these 2. Ignore this for right now. So we're going to add these 2. Oops, I shouldn't have grabbed the Grand Scepter, of course. There's instructions in case you wanted to see that. But we're going to go ahead and add this into the deck. We're going to shuffle it up, and any face-up location that doesn't have the relics that they need should get a face-down relic. The only one that I know of is going to be over here. That has a relic, so it gets a relic. Then we're going to take the winning relics. We bring these over to the reliquary over here. We're going to shuffle these ones up. So whatever was left here, plus whatever the relics the winner had, these get shuffled up and put on top of the relic deck. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to stack up the sites. So let me just go ahead and put these things here. All right, so the way you do this is you take the cards that are on them and they just stack, and then you're just going to go down this way. Stacking is so fun. We're going to even put this relic right on top of there. Stack, and then these are going to go into this world box. Now, I hate tuck boxes. I hate them. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about making a sleeve that goes on top of this instead of dealing with this stupid tucking. I hate it. Okay, so we're just going to gently put these in here so that we don't mess anything up. Something like that. We're going to be adding more stuff to it soon, so I'll just set it there. Then we're going to grab the discard pile from before. This is the one that we had already seen these cards, shuffled them up, took 6 out. We need to add them into the cards we haven't seen. And so, oh my gosh, you're going to kill me. I'm going to do like that shuffling that gives people anxiety. We'll just do it a couple of times. And in theory, if we've done our job right, we should have the right number of cards showing here. What we need to do is we need to make 3 stacks of cards. We need a stack of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A stack of 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then a stack of whatever's left over. Then to those stacks, we're going to add 2 visions to the first stack, 3 visions to the second stack. That'll make sure that you kind of get to those visions sooner rather than later. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then that one gets 0. And then we're going to shuffle, shuffle and put on top, shuffle and put on top. So this one's pretty much shuffled already, right? So we'll just make sure that we feel good about that shuffling. Going to go ahead and just kind of pre-shuffle those visions a little bit. And then we'll shuffle them up real good. Put that there. Oh, we don't want the visions next to each other by default, so we'll just do a little bit of that. And that is going to be the world deck used for the next game. And keep in mind, these top cards are intentional, so you're not going to want to shuffle them when we get going. And then we're going to take this world deck and put it here in the box where it says world deck. I usually would keep the winning Oathkeeper thing in here. Also, probably a good idea to put the Grand Scepter in there as well, and might as well keep the Oathkeeper thing in here as well. And we'll go ahead and close that up. Now, that's our world box. It doesn't tell us anywhere specific to put the relics. Depending on if you're planning on tipping the box or not, I don't think it's a bad idea to just put them right here. Also, we have our different other Oathkeeper things. Maybe those could go over there. I'm not sure. What? I don't like that at all. Why am I recording this? Sure, we'll put those right there. And we're obviously going to need a place for all of the other sites, and we're going to need a place for the banners. Ooh, I am not liking that. Sure. Okay, something like that. It is important to remember that while we were playing, we did offer citizenship. So had the red player taken citizenship, we would have flipped the red board over to citizen. And you would basically just want to stack all of these boards, either exile or citizenship side up, depending on how you want to do that. And then essentially, like, you can play it however you want. Next game, the blue player would be the Chancellor, and all of the other players would get to choose from the boards that were exiles or citizens. The idea being that it's basically a new generation, and so you'd even have these other colors available to you as well. All right. Let's see. How did I do this before? Such a useful video. So dang helpful. Sometimes I am good at packing things up, though, so let's pretend like that's why you're still around. Okay, I'm going to go like that, maybe. Like that. Oh, I don't love it. I don't love it. But we're rolling with it because we have more to this video. Okay, so I would probably put these pieces over here. Oh, look, that's a great spot. No, sure. Oh my gosh, this video's stupid. Okay, sure, something like that. We could get, the map rolled up first. And you have to make sure it gets rolled up really tightly or else it won't fit. I don't know if I did that. Oh, I did okay. And then you can go ahead and get your player boards in. Your reliquary. All of the freaking aid books. There's so many. Like that. Why not? Throw the lid on there. And you're ready to go for game 2. Now, I am going to show you how to set up game 2 using what we just barely did. Let's go ahead and do that now. I know this is kind of dumb, but it is slightly different than the first playthrough and the rules. So right here, so we got our playbook. Right here, this is the general setup rules, but it does have things for when you would open certain packets and maybe things that you would ignore. A good, more general setup rule, I think probably, is going to be in this book here. And we'll just go ahead and follow this. But it's going to be pretty straightforward. Of course, let's start by unrolling the map. And then players would need to choose their character. Now, as I just barely mentioned, usually the winner of the last round, they will become the new Chancellor. You'll have several exile and possibly citizen boards for other players to choose if they want to. For kicks and giggles, I'll go ahead and choose yellow and black. The world box that we've got here is going to have all of the sites. Be careful because it's a dumb tuck box. And we're going to go ahead and just take this stuff out carefully. And as you set stuff up, remember that you're going to start in this corner and you lay out the cards and keep things face down if they were face down. And then this one over here had a relic. Oh, and then that would be like that. And chances are in future games you would have face up ones here in the hinterlands. If any of the locations needed like secrets or favors, you would also make sure to put those on there. We had put this, I'm just going to hand that to the Chancellor. We had put this in that box just to remind us. I'll just put that near the time tracker. And of course, we would pull out these pieces here, get our time tracker always on the star, put the vision tracker on the star, put the die on the die spot. I recognize that I'm kind of low on space, but what we need to do is we would kind of put these banners out here like normal, with one exception for the way that I've done this. It would get 1 coin and 1 secret. Now remember, the winner of the last game was our blue player, who won by having the people's favor. In order to have this Oathkeeper thing here, they are going to actually begin with the banner of the people's favor. So we'll keep that there. Oh my gosh. As we did in the first game, you would put 3 favor tokens in each of these banks. In a 5 or 6 player game, you would actually put 4 instead of 3. So you would go ahead and set those up. You would hand the Chancellor their pieces, and they would do a better job than I will at setting up their war bands. They would go ahead and put their supply on the starting supply token, and they're going to go ahead and start right there. We would do a nicer job than I'm doing of preparing these war bands, and we're going to have the pawn go on the board here in a second. Same with the yellow player. We'll get the pawn on the board in a second. While we're here, we can also go ahead and grab the world deck. Don't shuffle this. We did all that special shuffling when we closed up the last game, and same with the relics. The world deck will just go right here. We're going to be pulling from the bottom of this deck here in a second, and the relic deck is going to go here. Now, we're going to need the top 4 relics for the reliquary, so go ahead and grab those. And these can be shuffled, they can be put on the board however you want. And you are able to look at these during the game, but I would say you probably can't look at them while you're setting them up, and that you can put them down in whatever order you want. They were shuffled already, but whatever. Let's also make sure each player has their starting items. Again, here's a star, and so the Chancellor will have 2 coins, 1 secret, and they'll start with 3 war bands out like this. The black player will start with 1, 1, and then they'll have 3 starting war bands. Same with the yellow player. Again, this setup is kind of straightforward if you've already played the game, especially because all of the hard work kind of comes with the cleaning up. But I did just want to demonstrate kind of the slight differences between this setup and the first game setup. Also, while we're here, we can go ahead and take 3 cards from the bottom, and of these 3 cards, you're going to put 1 in each discard pile. So that's slightly different from the first game. Then each player is going to take 3 cards from the bottom. And go ahead and put the deck right back there. If by chance you had drawn some vision cards, which is very unlikely the way that we set up this deck, you would need to move the vision marker to match that. Now, basically from here on out, the Oathkeeper has gone ahead and they've put their pawn right there. And before the other players put their pawns, the Chancellor actually needs to put a couple more warbands on the board. They're always going to put 2 warbands on their starting spot. Plus, if any other site was face up and had denizen cards, likely from having ruled them in the last game, or if they have an intact edifice card, those are the double-sided cards if it was on the intact side, then they would also each need to get 1 ruin. So if the blue player had ruled this site at the end of the last game, they might have some denizen cards. If that was the case, they would go ahead and put a warband on there. As it is for this specific setup, this is the only spot that qualifies to get some warbands, and they would get 2 because it's this top right corner. Any other spot would have just gotten 1 warband from the Chancellor player. In the example that this would have ended in like a victory for the player who ruled the most sites, you could see how drastically different things would be. There would be a lot of sites left over from before. There would be several warbands starting, probably cards out. But that's just not how our last game ended, so it's kind of a lot more bare than maybe you would think it would be. But basically from here, in player order, the players are going to take their pawn and put it on any one face-up site, and you just go in player order, and you could choose, like you could have 2 players on the same site or not. Probably maybe black player would go there, yellow player would go there. And then each player still has these 3 cards. What you would do is you would look at these 3 cards, pick one of them that you want to keep, put it face down as an advisor. The other 2 would get discarded the way that you discard during the game. So since we're over here in the cradle, we would discard these 2 in the provinces. The way we're set up, the black player would discard their 2 in the hinterland, and then the yellow player would discard their 2 over in the cradle. So in this example, everything would have the same number of discards, but that wouldn't necessarily always be the case. It really depends on player count and where each player sets their character up. But that's it. That's basically how you would set up a game of Oath. Again, pretty similar to how we set up the first game, but it is interesting to see how the way you clean up is really going to play into that. It's interesting to see just the slight differences in the way that the first game setup was scripted versus here. For example, here you would have various spots probably opened up depending on how the last game ended, and you would be able to place your character in different spots, so you would have different numbers in your draw piles and your, stuff like that. So anyway, that's how you would set up a game of Oath. I know that was a little crazy. I have been working on this video for I've been working on my Oath videos for so long, I'm just like, it's crazy. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you enjoy playing your Oathness, and have a great day. Talk to you later. Okay, bye.